Welcome to the Go Get Us Podcast, a podcast where we haven't quite decided, but we're going to be doing it anyway. I'm Colby.
And I'm sexy and I know it. She can call me Fee.
That's Fee. That's Fee. Everybody always said, you know what? If there's one thing I know about Fee, it's that he is sexy and god damn does he know it.
I mean, I like to strut my stuff in the hallway, wearing my high-rise Daisy Dukes and my tied-off shirt.
High-rise Daisy Dukes?
Yeah.
Does that mean that they're like high-waisted, so you like your pants start like above your belly button, but they don't go down like past your balls, I guess? I'm having a hard time visualizing these shorts.
Yeah, so like they go all the way up. They just the deepest wedgie, and my balls are like one is out on each leg. So
man, what hallway are you in when you're wearing this?
Usually where no one can see me. So
see, okay, got it. I was just wondering how you avoided prison, but that answers it.
Yeah, it's usually in an abandoned parking lot with my phone, live with my what's it called? My sex stream that I do.
My sex. I like that you couldn't pull like you couldn't pull like Chatterbait or
Chatterbait. That's
like
the one.
Like a OnlyFans live stream. You were like sexstream.com. Yeah, that's me.
I was thinking like Chatterbait, but I was like, chat. I was like, what is it? I was like, what is it? And I couldn't fucking think of it.
To be fair, I also wouldn't blame you if you like remembered the name, but didn't want to say it immediately. So as everybody would be like, oh, this guy knows Chatterbait a little too fast, actually.
Exactly. You knew it too fast, in fact.
Hey, you can't be complaining about the fact that I have so much knowledge in my brain. I know a lot of things, Fee.
About porn? About porn?
Listen, I know a lot of things about a lot of things, all right?
I'm not specifying or anything. I'm just letting you know that I know.
Yeah. Listen, I'm establishing that I am an authority on information, general information on this podcast. I could go on Jeopardy. Don't try me. I could do it.
I don't think Chatterbait's general knowledge. I hate to break it to you.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Have you watched Jeopardy lately? I think they've asked like 3 or 4 questions about it this week.
You don't even have cable, and all you watch is Twitch. You don't watch Jeopardy.
Shit. Damn it! I forgot you knew that. Yeah.
If anything, I watch Jeopardy because I got cable in the front room.
Yeah. Why do you have cable?
My mom likes to watch TV. She's like old school like that.
Do you pay for it?
Yeah, we do.
The hesitation, because you were like, yeah, wait, yeah, no, we do right now. As of right now, yes, we do.
I don't like that we do. And
yeah, you're like, fucking, why is it so hard to pirate cable now?
It's not even that, because like for Christmas we bought her a Roku Fire Stick, and we were gonna put her like all the stuff on it, so that way we can get rid of cable. All she watches Law and Order and stuff, but sometimes she watches stuff. She's like, oh, I like the Hallmark Channel and whatnot. I'm like, oh, no one likes the Hallmark Channel. And
goodness.
She does. She likes those generic ass fucking Christmas movies and shit.
It's like, where it's always like, yes, there's a minor misunderstanding that could be cleared up if these two characters talk to each other, but one of them is too mad and they have to storm off for 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. And it's usually I don't think it's ever a man. It's always a woman. It's always a big businesswoman. She somehow gets lost in like old town, like Old Wood, not Old Woods, but like rural area, country town. Yeah. And there's always a fucking hunk, just a big hunk of meat man.
Yeah.
And he's way better than her boyfriend or fiance, sometimes husband. Yep. And she just straight up cheats on him.
Yep.
And then by the end of the movie, she's like, hey, this guy's better than you.
This guy's actually the best, and you're actually not. So
and sometimes like the guy that like the girl is with, like her old boyfriend or something, like sometimes they just don't do anything wrong, but they just get cheated on. But
yeah, I mean there's a couple problems with those movies. One of them being that, like, especially whenever they're talking about like portraying small town living, it's always like, oh yeah, I went to the local doctor and I like, we went to the grocery store and there was like fresh produce and fucking like
I was like,
everybody has a big house and all the scenes are like, oh yeah, fucking we're out in the middle of the old town square where everybody is just hanging out and being a community.
yeah, everyone just loves being a family down here in their big mansions and their big plots of land.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, I live in a small rural town. That shit don't happen.
No, it's not even close.
We have farmers, and it's annoying because they drive their fucking tractors on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, and every year for Christmas we have a parade
Mm-hmm.
that's like on one of the only main streets in town, and everyone goes.
The one main street. If there's going to be a parade, it's going to go down this one street.
Yeah, the one main street. And we don't have a fucking farmer's market. We have a Lowe's market, which used to be Super S.
Yeah.
And if you want to know more about that, the fucking Lowe's market, they're closing it because no one goes there enough.
Yeah, so, man. I mean, and I get it too, because like I remember like while I was growing up there, like going to the local grocery store was like, oh god, the meat is like really like a 50-50 and the produce is it's okay, but it's never like great. And also like if you wanted to like get something like, I don't know, novelty or kind of special, like, ooh, there's a fucking Christmas that like you couldn't go and just like buy Boo Berry. It wasn't like, oh yeah, here's like the special holiday cereal. It's like, no. You go to the next town over for that. We have Raisin Bran. So
you drive down yourself. The road 15 minutes to the good store and you get what you want. Because down here, we don't get that shit.
And I guess I guess now it's gotten to the point where where somebody walks into the grocery store in our town and they go, "Oh, you want anything? You go to the good grocery store. This is here for looks only. Get out of here."
This is if like you just need like eggs or like juice.
Yeah. Hey, this is a canned goods emporium and that's it.
Dude, like no shit. Like I the only reason I'm actually upset that they're going to close that store is because now I don't know where to get Faygo.
Yeah, I mean, who even stocks it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have to buy it online. Ugh. I mean, at least I still have a place in town to get RC and Mr. Pibb. So I guess
listen, that's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
Does the dollar store not carry Faygo?
No, dude. Fucking dollar store don't carry Faygo. Dollar store has standards. I'm not.
Yeah, everyone knows Lowe's does not.
Yeah, dude, they really don't. And the thing is, like, every time I go in there, they have like this big fucking potato sack that they sell. I think for like $10, full of popcorn, not pre-pop, like post-pop, just actual popcorn. I'm like, who's buying that? Yeah. How long has that been there? Is it good?
Is it good? Like, it's not. It's for sure not.
It can't be. I'm like, who keeps ordering this? I'm just,
hey, no one's eating this. And they're like, listen, we have to fill the shelves. And this is the biggest, cheapest thing we could find.
It's just like, I don't even buy fruit from there because the fruit's not even better than HEB.
Honestly, you're lucky that they're not selling like Ziploc bags full of like Friday night stadium pickles, like.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Like it got a little fancier when Lowe's took over because they started selling hardware, but like it's expensive.
Oh, God.
Even like when I went there, remember when my power strip like burst?
Oh yeah.
Fucking I bought the power strip and an extension cord there, and the fucking lady told me, "Why didn't you go to Walmart to buy this?" I was like, it's like 9 p.m. I don't want to drive 15 minutes to Walmart.
Just straight up looks at you and is like, you made a bad choice here.
She's like, you could have got it cheaper there. And I'm like, yeah, but I also had to have driven there and I don't want to.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's fair to have like the small town convenience tax that places like that have, where it's like, oh, I know that, you screwed up your shopping if you're here.
Yeah.
Like you need something in a jiffy, and you've got to pay like 20% more because you don't have to drive an extra half hour. But like, damn, does that suck?
It does. It sucks big fucking time. And like she's right. It's just if it wasn't late at night, I probably would have driven to Walmart, but I was stuck with this. And she didn't have to throw it in my face like that for real.
Yeah, damn.
Like I know it's expensive here. I know it is. Fuck. You don't have to be like giving me the goddamn business.
Don't give me the business. Come on.
My hopes and wishes is that they get rid of this Lowe's Market, demolish it, and build an HEB in Taft.
They won't.
I mean,
They
you're right.
Straight up. Okay, Liz, this is coming from the same person that, by the way, because I went and saw Fee to go drop off Christmas things,
Yeah.
I did take a brief stroll to the other side of town to grab gas. And while I was out there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down the highway a little bit. I'm going to turn around. And while I was doing that, I found the same business. It used to be a pizza place, and then it was like a pizza place and a sub shop, and then it closed. Now it's a barbecue place, and I'm like, well, that's not going to last. Like, no business in our
building.
small town lasts. There's a building that's sitting next to the Whataburger that was built and looks relatively fancy and was never finished.
Dude, they're working on it again. Who knows?
That's the thing, is they like every 2 years or so they're like, yeah, well, some local kids broke one of the windows, so we're gonna start working on it again. And everybody's like, ooh, because it's got like some fancy doors on it. Maybe it's gonna be a steakhouse. Maybe it's gonna be like a chop house or like a Logan's or something.
We're gonna get that Taco Bell soon enough.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, baby.
Dude, if they opened the Taco Bell there, I bet you it would get good ass business.
I bet so too. Taco Bell is cheap enough and like I feel like easy enough to operate that's one of the businesses that could succeed in our small town.
Yeah.
But like,
even though there's one like 15 minutes away, when you could walk there from your house, it opens up a world of possibility.
It does, because I mean, personally, I remember during the summers being able to ride my bike up to Dairy Queen. Oh, game changer.
You couldn't do that now.
No.
I mean, you could. It's just it'd take a few days.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I bet if you started in the morning at sunup on your bike, you'd probably get to Dairy Queen at like sundown. Probably.
Are you talking about from my house to the closest Dairy Queen?
No, to our Dairy Queen.
To your Dairy Queen. You don't even have a Dairy Queen anymore.
A Dairy King.
Oh, yes, to Dairy. Yes, that is true. I couldn't do it. That's too many miles. It's like 200 miles.
Sounds like quitter talk to me.
Let me do the math real quick. So that's like 200
200
miles, and you said to get there by sundown.
A bicycle.
Yeah, so that's like 12 hours, right? So I would have to be riding my bike at an average speed of 16.6 miles an hour. I don't think I could do that.
Well, that's when you stand up on the pedals and start fucking
that for the whole time.
Just pump it all time. And you get a couple of 5-minute breaks to get water and pee and whatnot, but you gotta you can stay at my house that night, and then you can ride your bike back. I won't even take you.
Man. Yeah, you're like, well, that was cool. Anyway, bye.
Man, when are you going to leave? Just
okay, let me see. If I were to leave right now, I could get to Dairy King 3 hours and 14 minutes in a car. Now I'm going to click the bike button, and 16 hours and 47 minutes.
See, note, if you leave now, you'd get here by tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Wait, yes. Yeah, I would get here by like 1 p.m.
Exactly.
That ain't worth it. That ain't worth it, dog.
Lunchtime. Right there.
Right. Hey, that's lunch, baby.
And you'll build up that hunger. You'll feel a lot better Like if you biked here and earned that fucking.
Just for kicks, let me click walking. Yeah,
Oh
63
no,
hours. Nice. 63.
3 days. Just 3 days of walking.
Yeah,
You
it's all
must
good.
you must really like that burger. Just
Ooh, looks like I can fly from here to the nearest large city.
I was,
And that'll be a 2 hour and 55-minute flight for $380. So that's
yeah.
something.
I mean, it cut off an hour of driving and cost more. So I mean,
It
win
cut
win
off
win.
it cut off 15 minutes of driving actually.
Really, I thought the drive
So
was 3.5.
it's 3 hours and 15 minutes, and this flight is
Oh,
2 hours and 55 minutes.
oh, so 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you don't have to drive.
I mean,
See,
to be fair, there is something kind of romantic about, like, not romantic in like the fucking sense, but like romantic in like the daydreaming sense of like taking your bike and like just like biking across the country and seeing the sights and stuff. Cause like, I had a friend that would go on trail rides. Like he would ride his horse from, San Antonio, or from Corpus up to San Antonio, or the other way around. I'm not quite sure which. But that was like all they would do is they would like hop on their horses. They would like ride from one point to the next. They would camp. Then they would hop back on their horses and ride. And that seems kind of nice. It's kind of fun, like a community thing. And
it seems nice, but then like you're on horseback. Oh God. Talk about the pounding on your fucking ass.
yeah,
Like you're taking just fucking just man. Like if you're biking, that's assuming like there's just trails to bike. You're on the fucking highway. No one cares you're there. Just
yeah,
the
honestly,
worst.
so I'm gonna zoom in on this bike route. Okay, so this is skirting me around all of the highways, which is good. And that like goes through, okay. So it goes through Austin, and then here we go. This is the part where everything gets fucked up. Is like once you get far enough south on Austin, you just have to ride on the service road on the highway.
Oh no.
And then you're just on that service road like up until you get to like the next small town, and then you got to like go through a couple of back roads in the small town, and then surprise, you get back on the highway.
Dude, here's the shitty part. It sounds like, oh dude, yeah, that sounds cool. There's like nothing scenic about doing this. It's just empty fields. Like
it's just it's
it's
just
empty fields.
nothing.
Like it'd be the most boring bike ride of your life.
Yeah.
And
I can't even. So I'm trying to think about like, I'm trying to think about what you could see along the way. I'm looking at some of these small cities. There's a river.
Oh,
you can see a river.
Oh boy, a body of water.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not fun. If anything, stopping at the Buc-ee's would be like the most fun. And if I stopped on the Buc-ee's riding my bike halfway to my destination, I'd be like, yeah, this is far enough, and turn all the way back or call for an Uber.
To be fair, we're not on that highway with the Buc-ee's though, so that's like,
oh no,
yeah,
that's right. Every time I always forget. Every time I go up to your place, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stop at Buc-ee's. But then and then I'm like, I should have hit Buc-ee's by now. I'm like, oh, that's right, there is no Buc-ee's. So then like I'm upset. I'm upset until I get to your house.
Are you familiar with the term man camp?
I am not.
Okay, so man camp is the term for basically like whenever an oil well goes up, people that go work on the rig, they all sort of like basically have to live somewhere, right? And so places like this pop up where they're like, hey, we got a bunch of like portable homes and RV trailers and really shitty temporary housing together in a field, and we're calling it a man camp. And
okay,
I would to look at like what features I would be seeing on my bike trip all the way down to Dairy King. One of them on the side of the road is just called Man Camp, and I'm looking at Google. I'm looking at Google Street View. It's just a fucking field. There's not even anything there. Why did someone put this on Google Maps?
You know, for funsies.
Yeah, just have a little fun.
Yeah, people will stop and be like, "Man camp."
Oh, ooh, I want to go to a man camp.
I'm a man. Just
I'm a man. Dude, I remember, like, God, I don't even remember why I was in this meeting, but, like, I remember somebody suggesting that we build a fort in Taft. That way people could, like, come see the fort in our town.
Wait.
And I was like, what? What?
What with the... I mean, like, is there anything special about the fort? Like,
No!
You couldn't even have tours of it. You're like, oh, yes, this is the fucking Fort Taft, historical fort.
Here's the thing. Like, I think he was like he's like one of these old guys that like, I feel like whenever you get up to a certain age, like, this like the patron saint, the deity of old people, like comes down inside of a Buick and says, all right, you have two options. You can either be interested in old war things, or you can be interested in cowboys. And fucking, I think this was an old war thing guy, and he was like, oh yeah, I've been to like all the forts in the area. I've run out of forts to go to. It'd be cool if I had a new fort to go to.
Even if it's fake and nothing happened here, we could just pretend.
Yeah, that was the thing that confused me so much. Is I was like, nothing of historical significance happened here. You just want to put up a fort and be like, hey, you come look at this fort.
Hey, come look at this. We'll have fake history battles.
Hey,
it'll be fucking. I'd rather like they open an old timey saloon.
Yeah, why not?
Like, that'd be fun.
Sure.
Except they couldn't serve alcohol. I couldn't imagine the trouble that would be there all the time.
Oh God, yeah.
But speaking of like biking on the roads and like it being boring, I was going to work the other day and there was just a car on fire in the road.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. I get to work, or I get to the town where I work, and I'm at the stoplight, and I just see a car on fire, and the people are standing to the side calling someone. I'm like, huh. I'm like, that sucks.
Damn,
but like,
dude.
I didn't call anyone because they were on the phone. I'm sure other people have called. I'm like, why am I gonna do anything, huh? And sure enough, it took them forever to get there because I went to go get something to eat. So I drove past them, and I saw this guy in a truck pull up behind him and run out of his fucking truck with a fire extinguisher.
Nice.
And he put it out, and he was like, and I was like, oh, sick. And then the fire fucking department got there. And I was like, God, that sucks.
Oh,
that has
damn.
to suck.
That's like the nightmare scenario. Because like, if your car sets on fire and no one has an extinguisher, that's it. That car's just gone. In fact, like if your car probably gets set on fire at all, it's just gone. There's no more car.
That car's donezo, dude. There's no saving that car. Like, as soon as something catches on fire, there's a number of things that it could have been, and it would be cheaper just to get a new car, let the insurance take over it. It's totaled because it would cost you a fortune to fix whatever caught on fire and the things it damaged while in there.
Yep.
So just fuck that. Fuck it off. That's all I'm saying. Just
yeah, I cannot imagine, because like I used to think like, I mean, you know, the prospect of, because like back in the day I was like, I really want a DS Lite, or no, I really want a DS Lite, but I don't want to like pay full price for it, so I'm gonna buy a broken one on eBay and then I'll just fix it. Okay. And like I looked up a bunch of tutorials and I was like, you know what? I bet it's probably like, I bet you could fix up a totaled car. I bet like, because like you've always heard stories about like, oh yeah, they said the frame was a little bent and then it's entirely totaled. And it's like, what? Fucking unbend it. What do you mean? Just unbend it. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, it's fine, right? Just like whatever, not a big deal. But like, nah.
You always hear those guys online like, you ain't a real man unless you fix up your car.
Yeah.
Like man, go I'm like, listen, I didn't grow up like in a mechanic shop, and my dad's not a mechanic. He knew how to change oil and tires and like spark plugs, but he didn't know how to fucking pull out an engine.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm like, what do you mean you gotta fix your own car? I'm like, that's why you pay people. You just have to know what's wrong with it so they don't fucking pull the wool over your eyes and charge you extra.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't tell you how disinterested I am in learning how to fix my own car.
like you can learn what the problems are and what needs like to be changed or fixed. But if you don't know how to fix it, that's fine. As long as you can explain to the guy, the mechanic, what's wrong and you know your shit, they're not gonna fuck you over because you can be like, yeah, no, that price is absurd.
Yeah. Like if you show up with enough info, I feel like, because I mean, I'll say that probably most mechanic shops are like not trying to like grift you, but like the ones that are, I feel like if you show up and you're like, yeah, I've already diagnosed that like this is probably the issue. It's probably one of these things, and blah blah blah. I just need someone, like I just don't have the time to fix it. Then I'm sure they're like, all right, well, we'll just do that, I guess.
Yeah,
that's easier on us, and like if it screws up, that's kind of on you now.
Yeah,
but like
for not. Yeah, if you already know the problem, we could just do what you said, and we won't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
fucked up, well,
which like fair enough, sure.
Yeah,
sure, I mean, do that.
At least if they fix the part, or if they fix a part that you think is fixed up, at least you have a new part that you thought was broken. So that's not the problem, but you have the new part.
Yeah,
especially if you own the car. Then that's even better because then you don't have to replace that part like later down the line, especially if it's one of those parts in your car that tends to go out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always just good to just like fix some of the small things, because one of the most minor things in your car could go out, then it'll be like a ripple effect.
Yeah,
like this will go out, then it'll affect this, and then like your fucking transmission, and transmissions are fucking a fortune.
Yeah, I mean, I had a transmission problem. So like my old car, before I ended up buying my first like electric vehicle, it was literally, I scheduled an appointment to go because I was like, you know what, I'm kind of interested in buying an electric car. This can be kind of sick, and I'll just see how much they're going to give me for the car I have right now. And so I drove. That like the day before, that night, I drove to a friend's place, and I'm driving up this overpass. Then all of a sudden my engine starts revving like crazy, and I'm not like speeding up. And I was like, oh shit, what is happening? And sure enough, like I got to their place. I parked and was like, I don't know what happened. I hope that was temporary. And then I got in the car to go back home and was like, nope, sure wasn't. I couldn't get over like 40 miles an hour. And my car just wasn't shifting. And I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, no.
Cool. So I get back to my apartment. The next day I go to the dealership. Like I make it to the dealership with my car, and I'm like, yeah, something weird happened. I don't know what's up. And they were like, well, yeah, let's like show you this new car and whatever, and we'll see what's going on so we could like try to fix it. I said, great. And then they call me back the next day and they say like, yeah, your transmission is just ruined. So we did say we were going to give you $7,000 for your car. We can give you $2 now because we got to fix that transmission and then sell it. And I was like, hold on. And so I spent the rest of that day calling around and being like, hey, this is the kind of truck I have. This is what's wrong. They're going to replace the whole transmission. How much would that cost at your shop? And I finally found one that was like, yeah, I mean, I don't feel super comfortable giving you an estimate, just because I haven't seen it, but probably about $2,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, good enough. And so I hung up, called the other place back and was like, hey, this place says they'll do it for $2,000. So what would be easier on me is if you gave me $5,000 instead of the $7,000 you were originally going to give me, and then I'll let you keep my truck, and then I'll go buy this new car. And they were like, yeah, okay. I was like, fuck yeah. Scamming me.
Yeah, no shit. The thing is though, transmissions are expensive, especially to replace. So, like, I know they tacked on like that extra, and they were gonna give you a lot less, but it does cost a lot.
It
especially
does
on a truck.
And the place that like told me, oh yeah, you'll do a we'll do it for like $2,000. They were very upfront with like, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a junkyard and find an old, like a same year model that's like been totaled. We're going to take the transmission out of that one and put it in yours. And I was like, good enough. As long as it'll start driving and I can fool another dealership into it, I don't care.
Hell yeah. But yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. That's why I keep my fucking I know enough about cars to get by, but not enough to fix it or want to fix it. Just so that way I can go to like a mechanic or something, and they won't be like, oh, well, it'll be this much. I'm like, no service around. So yeah. But anyway, that's enough about this fucking grease monkey talk. We're not mechanics, and we're not here to talk to you 30 minutes in about mechanic things.
About mechanicking.
Yeah, about automobiles.
Yeah, we're not MacGyvers.
Yeah, we're not what is it called? The car that talks.
Herbie?
No.
Lightning McQueen?
No. God, there's a lot of talking cars. No, the one with
Christine.
No, the one
Bumblebee.
Christine didn't talk.
I'm just naming cars that are in movies, Fee.
No, the one with the guy from Baywatch, with David Hasselhoff.
Kit?
Yeah, Kit.
Knight Rider?
Yeah, Knight Rider. I forgot why I mentioned it, but Knight Rider.
Christ almighty. I'm just gonna name just every car in popular cinema. I'm just gonna name
every sentient car. You're fucking naming them, but you didn't name Knight Rider.
Yeah, why would I? Who gives a shit about Knight Rider?
It's a good show.
Okay.
They made a reboot on it.
Wow, was it great? Why haven't I watched it if it was so great, V?
They got one whole season.
Wow, that sounds like every Netflix show.
Oh shit! It's just like Velma.
Just like Velma. Oh boy, that can't get a season 2, right? Like,
oh no, the thing is, I heard it got green light for a season 2 before it aired, but I mean, HBO, like Warner Bros, could take it back after the shit reception.
Yeah, so I will say, I've been on Reddit the past 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen every time that I go and refresh the front page.
Yeah.
I've seen anywhere between 3 and 5 posts about how bad Velma is within the first 50 posts consistently. And they're different posts every 6 hours or so. And I have gotten to the point where I've just started downvoting them. I'm like, all right, we get it. Velma's bad. Shut up. God. You can't say enough things about this.
We already know it's terrible. God.
Yeah, they're like, there's one where they're like, oh, look at this like stupid scene where like math goes around Velma's head and it's all stupid math. I'm like, no shit, it's a comedy show, idiot. Like, they're not gonna put like, oh, I found this Easter egg in Velma. Did you know that the fucking Riemann sum is in it? Like, shut up. God, you're trying to find things to hate. There's things to hate about it, I'm sure, that are not that. That's a dumb thing.
Yeah, the thing is, Velma herself is a non-likable character. She's mean to everyone for like almost no reason. And I think the best character is probably Shaggy. But maybe it's Fred because Fred's more funny. Shaggy is not a stoner in this show, and he makes it a point to be like, I don't do drugs, and then looks directly at the camera. And like,
Cool.
The show's very meta. Very meta. Like, God.
See, so that stuff that's fine, I guess, but like, why? You know, like, is that like, did you need to fill time, or were you like so hyper aware of like because I feel like a show can really get up its own ass, especially if it's like a reboot of something or a sequel to something, or if it's referencing something that like currently exists, instead of like giving a subtle nod or a wink or like, oh, there's this Easter egg, like doing over the top dumb shit. Like I made a joke, stared at camera, made Jim face. Like fucking come on, dude.
Here's the thing. Since Mindy Kaling was the head writer, I feel like she's not a good enough writer to have headed this project. And I want to say, like, I'm trying to be unbiased because I didn't watch The Office. I didn't see the Mindy Project. I didn't see, like, I've only seen her like guest appear in like 1 or 2 episodes here or there and things. I don't really know what her writing skills is, but like every time I see her in anything, she's just playing herself. So like that's all I know her for, is her playing herself.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I haven't like I've seen a couple of clips from the Mindy Project, and like, you know, if that's like, you can't tell like what is a collaborative effort and what is a solo effort. I feel like all shows are like collaborative efforts. So
yeah,
but like it's fine. I thought it was kind of funny. So like whatever, but from what it seems like, again, I haven't seen this, and in particular, the reason why I haven't seen this show is because I don't have enough time to watch the things I want to watch. I can't validate that something is bad. Like if somebody is like, hey, this is a bad thing, everybody hates this thing, I'm not going to be like, oh, I better go make sure that I hate it too. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, I guess I won't spend any time on it. Doop, doop, doop.
Yeah, I just usually explain to you if I think something's bad. And you usually are just like, oh, I don't think it's as bad as you say. And then you'll get around to watching it like next year.
You say that. I'm probably never going to watch She-Hulk. I'm probably never going to watch Velma.
In the case of She-Hulk, I'm probably sure you're not. For Velma, I'm 100% sure you're not. Because it's just not your kind of, I guess, niche. I guess I like Scooby-Doo. And here's the thing about this Scooby-Doo. And of course the dog's not in it, so that's, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Scooby-Doo's not in it. My thing is, because I've seen like tweets from like everyone, from like from the show, like runners putting stuff out. Here's what I think happened, and here's what a lot of people think happened, but here's what I think happened. I think Mindy Kaling saw the original Scooby-Doo from like 1960 and saw no other Scooby-Doos after that. Because the way they describe each character, like, is like she just saw the old show and no other Scooby-Doo. Because she's like, oh yeah, we changed Velma. Like this was like I think this was like an interview they had. They're like, she's like, oh, I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of Scooby-Doo. You know, you know, there's Fred who everyone did stuff and he takes the credit. I'm like, well, Fred never did that. And then
hey, when did Fred do that?
Yeah, and then she's like, he's a rich white boy. And I'm like, well, I mean, we don't know who their families are in like the original.
he just has an ascot.
Yeah, he has an ascot, and that was like trendy in the 60s. And they were like, oh, we all know like Shaggy was like a stoner, and that's it. And I'm like, well, I mean, he kind of wasn't a stoner. He was like a hippie and a gymnast, and that's it. And he was goofy and liked his dog. And dog was, you know, they were comic relief. And they were like, oh, Daphne was bland. I'm like, I mean, have you seen any other Scooby-Doo? She's not really bland.
I mean, like, in the 60s show,
yeah, she was just there.
But guess what? Like, literally every character is bland except for Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah, no shit.
All of them are just like, well, I'm here to say things about, I don't know, the plot, I guess.
Yeah, and Velma in the original was there to explain things to everybody. That's what she was. She was like, oh, this happened because this science or whatever.
Yeah.
She was there to explain shit.
Yeah.
And then you just had the comic relief. That's it.
Yep.
But, like, in other iterations, like, of course, Shaggy and Scooby kind of were the only ones that stayed true to the character the most in every iteration, but like slowly got like more character. But Daphne was the one that changed the most. If you like ask me, like she turned into like a fashionista. She became what's it called? A journalist, a news reporter. She learned martial arts so that way she could beat people's ass. Fucking a lot of shit happened.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing that they did was they just made Fred like traps. That was like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, I love that. I love that character quirk.
In Mystery Inc., he was all about fucking traps. Like he had like a trap monthly magazine. He was super into it, and he's super into mystery solving.
Yeah,
like especially like in the Halloween movie that just came out where there's some like he's fucking pissed that there's no mysteries.
Yeah,
and he's like, I want to solve a mystery. He's like, but there's nothing, and like it's so fucking funny. But I can't say the same thing about this show.
Yeah,
because his one defining feature is he has a small dick, and everyone knows it. Everyone's like, he has a small dick, and that's why he murdered those people. And then like it comes out that he's like never hit puberty, and he has a small wiener, and that's it.
Okay. I guess
he doesn't know how to take care of himself. He has the mind of a child. That's it.
And that's it. No traps or
nope,
no traps involved.
No traps involved. Shaggy is a simp, a hard ass simp. He
for
loves
who?
For Velma.
Oh,
he loves Velma like die hard. He loves her so much that he goes and tries to sell his kidney to take her on a date. And then
sorry, is this? Are you sure? Are you sure you're not confusing this with Chainsaw Man? Are you positive?
Nope, this happened. He goes and tries to sell his kidney. After like she gets all pissed off at him, and then after he like she's having like an anxiety attack, and he calls her, and she's trying to get out of it, and then she's like, hey, I'm having an anxiety attack, tell me something to get me out of this. He tells her that she loves him, that he loves her, and she laughs so hard at the fact that Shaggy loves her, and that she only sees him as a brother, dissing him over the phone, that he breaks her out of the anxiety attack after laughing at him in his face for genuinely sharing his feelings.
Damn, that's fucking rough, dude.
Yeah, that's fucking wicked. And her mom like vanishes at the beginning of the show. Her dad has a new girlfriend who's pregnant that lives with them, and Velma's just an asshole to her and calls her a basic bitch.
Is that like is the wife shitty or anything?
No, she's not.
She just exists.
She just exists. And then they start dealing drugs in the second episode.
Hell yeah.
And I hate this.
It's to solve the mystery, right? There's a mystery and they've got to go undercover, right?
No, it's Velma selling drugs for Daphne
for erectile dysfunction. Pretty cool.
Daphne's a drug dealer.
Okay.
And Velma is selling her new, I guess drug called Jinkies, and I hate that.
That's terrible.
That's a terrible name. And then she's
okay. Like, I will say that is better than the one in Riverdale, but not by much.
What's the one in Riverdale called?
It's called Jingle Jangle. It's legitimately called Jingle Jangle. You can't get any worse than that. Jinkies is close though. It's fucking so close.
Oh, I don't know, but Jingle Jangle sounds funny. It made me laugh. Jinkies made me cringe.
Jinkies makes me want to throw up. What?
Jingle Jangle makes me want to like gut laugh. Fucking, but Riverdale's awful too. So
Yeah,
and
true.
it got 3 seasons. Fucking
Hell
more.
yeah.
But yeah, no, there's. I don't. The only redeeming quality about Velma is the animation's good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's actually pretty, like, really good.
Nice. That's where all the
No,
money went. They said, "Hey, we're
basically.
going to save all this money on writers because Mindy Kaling is going to write it all by herself." And then the animators looked at the script and went, "I mean, I don't know. She's supposed to know what she's talking about. I guess we'll just do this."
Oh God, I only 2 episodes are out, and I guess they're gonna release them the rest later. But as far as I'm concerned, like, it lost everybody's good faith. Like with those 2 episodes. Also,
Yeah,
they're all minors in high school, and the first scene is like all these girls naked in the high school shower.
but when you think about it, like when you really think about it, Fee,
I don't like where it's going.
aren't people just going to watch it out of spite now for the rest of the season?
You know what? I was reading that too, and a lot of the replies are like, "Hey, we ain't giving money to them if we pirate it."
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
I'm thinking if there's a way I mean, the only thing that they could benefit off of that is to be like, hey, if we curbed the pirating, look at how many people we could potentially have. I mean, people. The only reason this is not making money is because 50,000 people pirated it. Huh?
hey, if pirate sites weren't available, then imagine.
Yeah, we'd be raking it in. You know what? When you think about it, Velma's actually a success.
I just don't see how it could go on with the bad choices they made. Good voice acting, good animation, bad everything else. Also,
Yeah.
like, they like really shoehorned in Daphne and Velma in a relationship. And I'm not saying that because I don't like lesbians. That's fine. The
Mhm.
Velma's like girls before. It's fine.
Sure.
It's just it happened out of nowhere because they hate each other. They didn't like each other. The whole show they're like they had a falling out of like friendship. They
Hmm.
bicker with each other. They fucking what's it called? They're just calling each other names and they're begrudgingly working with each other. But then all of a sudden now they're fucking uh girlfriend. Maybe because Daphne's dating Fred.
Mm.
So who
See,
knows?
so to me, that necessarily doesn't mean that this is like Velma's fault because that's a trope that has been around forever, which is like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, fucking, it's these two people that like. How many times have you been watching like a show and then like two people are like, yeah, well, fuck you, you suck. Yeah, well, you suck, and then they just start making out.
Yeah.
That's
I just
so
felt like
deeply unrealistic, and I hate it every time that it happens. And I'm like,
it just felt like
why is it
seemingly
still here?
it was like seemingly out of nowhere because like Velma's having anxiety. When Velma has an anxiety attack in the show, she goes in this hallucinogenic state where she like I guess hallucinates all these ghosts and her mom, and if like they get into her heart, she dies. That was like the thing. And she has to get taken out of it. And I guess Daphne was around at this time, and when Daphne's around the one time, she's like slapping her, and then she's like, I'm just gonna fucking make out with her, and that'll pull her out. And I guess that did.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make out with her.
She didn't say anything. She just like shrugged her shoulders and fucking just made out with her. Which
I mean,
I
listen,
guess
it's
it,
something. It's
it,
something, right?
then again, it wasn't like really consensual. Like she didn't ask her. There was no like kind of hint. Like if they'd like it, she just like if I make out with her, maybe she'll like it, and if she doesn't, well, I got her out of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. I feel like it was kind of tacked on. Like they could if they spent more time like of them building it up. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
becoming friends, but there was no like, oh, they're starting to see each other now. But like there was one time when like they fell and like they did the whole like falling on top of each other
Oh
and kind of
no,
did
no, come on.
So they did that once, and then now I guess maybe the rest of the show it'll be like, oh well, I just kissed you to get you out of the thing. I don't see you that way. And also now Fred likes Velma. Everyone is fucking likes Velma.
But why? It sounds like she's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, she is. She's an asshole.
But I don't know. I mean, listen, if you listen to the incels out there, assholes get all the girls. So that's, maybe this is just confirming everything,
she's an alpha female. I hate that fucking alpha female. I don't know what you'd even call that. She's a lioness.
Yeah, alpha, just sigma, just no male, just sigma, alpha.
She's alpha. Mm-hmm. She's fucking top of the pack.
Hell yeah, that's right.
So, I don't want to harp on Velma. There's only 2 episodes out and it's trash. And I'll probably end up watching all of it just to
Hell yeah, you will.
Because I get bored. And
you know what? You're like I've got all these animes that I could be watching, all this stuff I could be catching up on, but I'm going to watch Velma.
I watch all my anime at work. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean,
I don't have
I'm just
HBO
saying you've got other stuff you could be watching.
I know I do, I really do. But you know what? I can't fairly what's it called? Critique the show if I've only seen 2 episodes and the rest came out.
Yeah,
I can't say it's bullshit with the 2 episodes I saw. I'm not gonna watch the rest, and who knows? Maybe it turns out to be just horse shit, not bullshit. Slightly better.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's a mature way of tackling this, to be like, listen.
That's why I saw
what if the whole reason why Velma sucks ass in these first few episodes is because she's going to have a redemption arc later on, and it's going to be great.
That's what like people are saying, but they're like, but if she was going to have a redemption arc, why not have her be nice to a few people, like her friends, like Shaggy. Or like her dad, she's mean to everyone. Like, what's the redemption arc gonna be? She's gonna start being nice to everyone?
Yeah, she's gonna realize that she's causing her own anxiety, and then she's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm anxious because I've been an asshole to everyone. I should start being nice to everyone." And then she's nice to people, and they're like, "Is something wrong? Do you need help?" And she's like, "No, I'm just trying to be a nice person." And then she switches back to just being an asshole by the end of the season. The show has no fucking point. It's gonna be great. Can't wait.
Oh man, you can't wait. I gotta watch it.
That's true. Yeah, you're the only one that's doing it. Yeah.
I hate that I have to watch these things.
You're contractually obligated. The U.S. government hired you for this.
Listen, I have to. I have to watch a lot of cartoons and anime that come out. Just so I can tell people how I feel about it. I'm sorry.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
Look, before we get on to another show that just came out that I want to compare and contrast to its old counterpart, Colby has a story that he wants to tell us about how he overcame a fish in college.
Yeah. So if you remember at the end of last week's podcast, Sophie wrote down this note that says Colby overcame a fish in college.
Yeah, I was really curious. You piqued my curiosity.
So I'm really glad that you wrote that down because it's not entirely accurate. You forgot a couple of words in there, that's okay.
I was trying to write it down quick.
So we were talking about having food poisoning, and like overcoming illness and like having a negative association with a thing because of like being sick with it, right? I had that for fish. So while I was in college, I ate at the dining hall very often. And against my better judgment, I did eat some dining hall fish. And it turns out that, as you would predict, a bad idea. Yeah. So I got food poisoning, and I was like, this is really bad. Like, I couldn't eat for like a day or so. It was just me like throwing up and drinking water. Well, not water at that time. It was just soda, drinking soda, throwing up, drinking soda, throwing up. And then finally I I came out on the other side, but not very well. Like I could keep some food down, but I had to eat like very little food, and it had to be like pretty bland. But I was still like, I was thinking about fish, and I was like, oh God, oh, I don't want to eat. Just even thinking about fish is making me nauseous. And then I said, you know what? I think I have an idea. So I called a friend. I called a friend named Will, I believe. I think it was Will. And I was like, hey, let's go to Chili's. Chili's is across the street from college. And so we walked over to Chili's. I'm still like recovering from, I had thrown up that day. So I'm still recovering. We get into Chili's and I'm like, yeah, I sit down, get my Diet Coke, and I'm like, give me the salmon. You give me that salmon. And they were like, okay.
Sir, but the salmon's 3 days old.
You give me that salmon. So I talked to Will, and I'm like, yeah, so here's my plan. I got food poisoning off of this like dining hall tilapia. I'm just going to eat fish every day until I feel better. That way I don't have a negative association with fish. And he was like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Wouldn't that make it worse?
Here was my logic, Fee. If I eat the fish and I don't throw up, and I continue to do that while I'm improving, all of a sudden, maybe my brain is like, oh, I'm actually starting to feel better because I'm eating fish, right? So I feel shitty because I'm not eating enough fish. And then if I keep eating fish, I'll start feeling better. And that way, I'll switch that association from fish equals puke to fish equals rejuvenation.
That's the worst logic I've ever heard. Like, oh no. And not to mention, in my opinion, I think being having food poison from like fish is the worst type of food poison.
It is.
So you're adding more fuel to the fucking sick fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a smart guy.
And I will say, I got home that night after it, and I ate the whole salmon. I ate a little bit of the sides, but I made sure that I wolfed down that whole salmon. And I went home, and I was so nauseous the rest of the night. I was like, nope, can't throw up. Otherwise, it's bad fish. Can't have bad fish. Fish good. I come from a coastal town. Fish good, damn it. And so I'm just laying in bed like, nope, not going to do it. Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Oh, God,
I didn't. I didn't throw up that night.
Oh, no.
I woke up the next day and was like, okay, feeling okay. I'm feeling all right. I woke up enough, got to be lunchtime, and I said, well, here we go. Let me go to the Subway across the street and order a tuna sandwich. So I went in there and I said, give me the foot-long tuna. Give me a foot-long tuna, not a 6-inch. I said, give me all the fucking fish you have.
Everyone turns their heads. They're like, oh, just fucking.
I'm like pale and sweating. I'm like, put fish in me. I'm going to open my mouth, just chuck fish in me from back there, please.
Give me the mercury.
It's the only thing that's going to help. And they're like, looks like you're dying. Shut up.
I want the fish. Everyone's like, sir, someone stop him.
Saint's going to die. Mommy, the man's committing suicide in front of us. Shut up. So this legitimately for the next 4 days, every day I ate a foot-long tuna sandwich after that.
Oh, no.
Basically, if I didn't have fish for lunch, I had fish for dinner. And sure enough, by the end of it, I was like, okay, I'm able to eat like all the food, all the water, all the whatever I want.
Oh.
And I didn't have a negative association with fish. Now, is that because the food poisoning incident wasn't bad enough to make me have that negative association? Or was it because through sheer willpower and tenacity that I overcame it by really getting deep into this like fish plan?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You dug in this whole fish plan.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's a combination of both. It was both the willpower and the fish plan. Although, if you didn't have to, you could have just used your you could have just used your willpower and just not associate food poison with fish.
And just not, like, eat fish the next time I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. When you got better, just through the whole time, just, getting better. But like every day you're getting better, you're like, yeah, that fish ain't gonna fucking hold me down. And you're gonna get better so that way you can get back at the fish when you get better. But you dove head first. You dove like fucking a swan dive into this fish plan that probably could have made your negative association with fish even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow came out better or fine on the other side.
See, so this is that, and this next story I'm about to tell are two things that like really demonstrate to you that once, like, if I don't have a plan for like how to fix a thing, I'm lost and I can't execute and I don't know what to do. If I come up with a bad plan to execute something, you can't fucking stop me from doing that plan until it's done. So I was accepted for a summer internship during college, and they were like, hey, you have to like get a mandatory drug test to us and it has to be done by the end of the week. Which makes sense, right? They don't want you to have time to like flush your system or whatever. And like, yeah. I'm not worried about it, right? I don't do like, at the time I wasn't doing any drugs that like would have shown up on anything. So it'd have been fine. And so I schedule my appointment, but it's effectively between two classes that I have. And I'm like, this is a busy week. So this is like the only time I'm going to have to work on this. I'm like, all right, it's fine. Not a big deal. So I get out of my class, I drive there, and I'm sitting in the waiting room. I'm like, man, I have to pee so fucking bad, dude. Like, I'll just like, I gotta hold it. But they, I checked in and everything, and I'm sitting there like, when the fuck are they gonna get, like, literally you just have to give me a cup and then I'll pee in the cup and I'll leave. Just give me the cup.
Please.
I'm in this waiting room for like 45 minutes.
Oh, fuck me.
Before I'm finally like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I go to the bathroom and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pee like a little bit. I'm going to pee. I'm going to like do like a half pee, and it's going to hurt and it's going to suck, but it'll be, you know what? I'll still have pee for the pee test and it'll be fine. So I do that and it doesn't feel great. And then I go back and I sit in my seat and I'm like, ow, this sucks. But like, I'm gonna like as soon as they say, like, I just got to hold out until they give me the cup and then it's fine. About 15 minutes later. So if you're keeping track, I've been waiting an hour now.
Yeah.
They're finally like, okay, we got all the paperwork done. Like, we know where we're sending this. Everything's good. Now you get to go pee in this cup.
Okay.
And I grab this cup. I down just a whole bunch of water, and I go into the bathroom and I'm like, all right, here we go.
Pee time.
Nothing comes out.
Oh, no.
Nothing comes out. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, okay, like, I assumed this was going to be a very quick, like 30-minute long, and 15 minutes of that is driving, like, thing where I show up and I'm like, hey, I'm the guy. And they're like, you're the guy. Here's the cup. Great. Thanks for putting the guy's pee in the cup. Now we put it in the mail, right? I thought that was what it was going to be. No. And so I'm looking at and I'm like, God, I've got this class that I have to go to in half an hour. So like, I have to get this done. And so like, I'm doing the mental math and I'm like, okay, that means that I have about 15 minutes to pee in this cup. Shit. Okay. What do I do? I'm like, and so I like turn on the sink. I drink out of the sink a little bit and I'm like, that's not,
I'm just about to say,
that's not going to do anything. I turn on like, and the sound of running water doesn't do anything for me.
Dude, same.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, my brain is turning. It's like, there's no solutions. I'm like going through every possible avenue. Like, well, water takes too long to go from like being in your mouth into in your bladder. So like even if I drink a shit ton of water now, it's not like it's going to release a bunch of stuff into my bladder then would be able to pee out. So like, not going to do that, right? And I'm like, okay, so what's next? Go down the list.
Splash some water on your balls.
What the fuck?
I've
never heard that.
Just you do that. The cool sensation will, I don't know, kick your bladder into high gear.
Yes, I scare my balls into releasing the contents of my bladder because, as we all know, pee is stored in the balls. So
yeah, so
this makes sense.
There's a foolproof plan. You should have known.
Well, so I finally came up with an idea. I said, I don't like this plan. This is a bad plan. But it's the only idea I have. And the only thing that I can remember, the only time that I can remember in which like something happened and then I had to pee afterward was whenever I had been kicked in the balls. So I'm like,
no.
Well, I guess I've just got to punch myself in the balls, right? That's the only way out of this. I have to go to this class, so that means that I have to punch myself in the balls and pee in this cup. So, sure enough, like I put down the cup and I'm like, okay, here I go. And I hit myself in the balls. And I'm like, that didn't hurt enough. I got to do it a couple more times. So, all in all, I punched myself in the balls 3 times. And the third time I go, oh, I want to throw up. Okay, that was good. That was, oh God. Okay, that was enough.
Oh, here it comes.
So I'm like sitting down now because I'm like, oh God. Oh, ow. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. It's starting to subside. And then I'm like, there it is. There. Now I need to pee. Okay, great. And so I start peeing. Just blood starts flowing out. No, I start peeing into this cup, and I fill it up about halfway to the required line, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, I don't have any other ideas. So like, I'm downing water. I'm not able to like get it. So like, I'm in the bathroom at this point for like 15 minutes. I'm like, well, shit, I have no time left. I just have to hand him what I have and hope that it's enough. So I go and I'm like, hey, here's my specimen. I know that it's not enough, but I don't really have to pee, I guess. And I tried to like do things that would make me pee. And this is the most that I could get. And the woman who grabbed the cup for me was like, oh yeah, this is enough. This would be enough, but now it's too cold. You waited too long to give it to me. So, and I was like, can I reschedule this? And she was like, no, no, you can't. Once we have started, you have to sit here until you pee in the cup. And I said, okay, cool. So I just canceled the class and sat in the waiting room and drank a shit ton of water. And sure enough, about half an hour later, I had to pee and I filled up the cup and finally went about my business. But like,
then she got the old pee and threw it back in your face. Sorry, this is not going to work.
Get this out of here. She said, I could tell when you didn't punch yourself in the balls. This is a coward's piss.
Just punching yourself in the fucking ball, all for naught. Oh no!
It was so bad, man. Like I missed the class that I was supposed to go to. I didn't even get to pee right. I was fucking terrible. And it was like, it would have been fine if I would have just like sucked it up and handed in less pee than normal, but no, I had to be like, well, they told me I had to get up to the line, so I gotta get up to the line.
Fucking overachiever over here. Fucking
God.
Oh, it sounds like a bad comedy. It's I couldn't like. It sounds like something you see in like a fucking stupid ass movie.
Yeah.
Like, just some guy in the bathroom just punching himself in the balls to
Yeah,
pee.
that sounds like this sounds like a scene out of Dumb and Dumber, but like it's not. It was just me.
You, the smartest person I know, punching himself in the balls in a drug testing bathroom.
I said, you know what? I have one idea. It's a bad idea, but this is the one idea I have.
But what if? Just
listen, if it works, it's not a bad idea.
I fucking can't. Like, what's blue collar places must hate you because, like, every time I've had to go take a fucking piss test for, like, any place I've had to work out in the field, like, for security or whatever, I get there, I sign in, 10 minutes later, bathroom, baby. I never have to wait any time.
Man. I don't know what it was. If it was like, I think it had something to do with like, cause I showed up, like I scheduled everything, right? And so I showed up with my paperwork and was like, yeah, here's my paperwork. And then I think they had to like contact the company to be like, hey, this person showed up with this paperwork. We need to make sure that like it's that like official. You're ready to go and we need to like have time to do this. And then they had to like send the acknowledgement back. Yes, we are ready to receive the specimen. You send it to this lab or whatever the fuck.
They couldn't have like pre-taken it. Like,
I don't know. I showed up with the paperwork they told me to show up with, and they were like, yeah, we gotta contact them. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just sit here and need to pee real bad.
That's how they get you. Was there anyone else in there?
Yes.
Oh, no.
There were multiple people that like came in and left in the time it took me to do it once. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I can't, like, when you were in a bathroom, were like you making any noise or anything? Like,
I tried my best not to, but like I'm sure here's the thing. If somebody would have been sitting next to the bathroom and listening, they would have heard like some like muffled clothes moving. And I'm sure they wouldn't have been like, that guy's in there punching himself in the balls for sure, right? They would have just said, I don't know what's going on in there, but that guy's having a hard time. He's been in there 15 minutes.
That's some ball punching noise.
Yeah, because they know because they've done it before. They're like, yeah, that's not going to work, bud.
Secretary comes, she's like, it sounds like you're punching your balls in there. You okay?
Yeah, hey, I just want to make sure that you're not punching your balls. It's fine. You can just drink some more water and it'll be fine. God.
Crying. I'm fucking crying. I can't. Why? Stupid.
Just knocking on the door. Sir, please stop. Come on. It doesn't have to be this way. And I'm like, no, I need to
pee. We have a no ball punching policy.
Sir, what you're doing is illegal.
It's gonna be bad pee.
The pee's gonna be so bad. Your piece it's going to be the power glove of pee. Please stop.
Urine's going to come out dented.
No one can test that pee. It's too wrecked. Your piss is totaled. It's totaled.
Bruised all over. Did you tell anyone after, like, friends or anything, what happened?
Oh, yeah. I, like, not immediately. It took me, like, I guess I was so embarrassed, but I was like, well, I mean, this is a funny thing that, like, I could tell people. And so, like a couple weeks later, I was like, yeah, this did happen in that drug test I took a couple weeks ago. So, it's probably fine, right?
Ball cancer, do I? Just okay. So here's the follow-up question. Did you get the internship?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Dude, like that was one of the times that like So like I accidentally, I picked a major in college that like happened to be one of those like areas of study where it's like, oh, you just get like all the money forever for you lucked out and it all worked out. Because they called me to be like, hey, you've got accepted for the internship. You do have to go do a piss test and we're going to do a background check or whatever. But like, we do want to offer you this internship. And like, do you want to hear the details of it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like sitting in like, not the dining hall, but we had these like convenience stores on campus that you could go to. And I was there eating lunch and they were like, yeah, so like, yeah, you're, you'll have like health insurance that you'll get over the summer. You're also going to be paid, like it's the equivalent of like $67,000 a year. You'll be paid like $35 an hour. And I went, sorry, what? I'm going to be paid what? And you're like, yeah, you'll get paid like, $35 an hour. And, you're only expected to work like 40 hours a week. You're not salaried. So please don't work overtime. And I was like, oh, I didn't hear anything you said after $35 an hour. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening now.
Is that the job that they wanted to keep you, right?
No, that that's the job that I ended off my internship. We had this big Q&A. It was excuse me, it was all of the interns were together inside of like the IT organization. Uh-huh. And they had this big AMA. They were like, hey, everybody can like ask questions to the vice president of IT in this company. And I was like, you know what? My whole summer internship, I was getting paid $35 an hour to dick around in MS Paint and like copy and paste things from an Excel sheet into a website and then copy and paste things from that website back into the Excel spreadsheet. That was my whole summer. I took naps. Like I would close my office door and take a nap for an hour. I did almost as little as you do at your job now.
Yeah, baby.
And I was not happy about it. Because I was like, I came here to like get experience and to have something to like put on my resume and to like, if I go into a job, like a job interview next and they're like, oh, tell me about your time at this company and what you did. I can't be like, well, I did a really cool MS Paint perspective drawing of a chessboard. That was fun.
I wouldn't have learned that.
So I'm in this AMA with the VP and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do it. And so I stand up and I was like, hey, just like some information has come my way. I want to bubble this up and there wasn't a good way to do it. So here I am. You have wasted a lot of money paying for me to be here. I am a software engineer. I know how to write code. I didn't get a chance to do that almost all summer. I instead worked in Excel a lot, and that is nothing. So I need you to know that like the way in which this company does internships is you're like, oh, we had this many interns last summer and we had this much money that we made last summer. So this summer we're going to make more money. So we need more interns. Instead of being like, hey, who wants an intern? They would just hire a bunch of interns and then be like, here, you have an intern for your team now. Give them something to do. And my team had nothing for me to do. So I'm like, just going on this like very brief but very terse rant about like, you have paid me too much. I have learned nothing here. This has been a waste of both my time and yours. And like, I'm not going to be here.
The guy up there is like, this motherfucker.
She was more understanding than she had any right to be, because her response was like, oh, yeah, I am really sorry to hear that. We'll take that in consideration for next summer. And like, while I'm talking this, the room is dead fucking quiet. And I'm like, I know there are other interns out here that feel like I do, that like didn't get to like do anything, but got paid a lot, which is pretty cool. But like, you know, whatever. But none of them are backing me up. None of them are standing up and being like, I am Spartacus. Fucking, it's just me.
I bet there's people like me that are just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. We get paid so much and you were ruining it.
Yeah, you're ruining it for all of us. I know we're done, but you're ruining it for everyone else.
It's like, it is almost like, school's about to be out for a long break and I'm the one that's like, hey, we don't have enough homework to do.
Oh shit, yeah. You're fucking in the assembly. You're like, yeah, I wasn't challenged enough and I want more.
Yeah, hey, God. You know, give me more homework. Everybody's like, shut the fuck up.
I know you paid me a lot to do this, but you know, I didn't do shit. Yeah. And now I'm mad at you for paying me an absorbent amount of money to dick around.
So like at the end, someone from HR comes up to me and he's like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but we're a company that like doesn't use the latest technologies, you know, we're still like kind of behind the times and we try to like make sure that we're not, you know, just like spending a lot of money on the newest tech. You probably don't want to work at a company like ours in the future. And I was like, okay, bet I don't actually. And I was riding fucking high on that too. I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't.
Walking fucking big dick energy. And she's like, hey, you know, we don't do what you're saying. And you kind of, you're making us look bad.
I'm like, yeah, you fucking don't, do you? It's just making myself feel cool. So yeah. I get in the car that day and I drive home. And every day on my way home from work, no matter what company I was working at, I would always call my parents. And my dad answers the phone and I was like, well, I did it. We had this big talk with the VP of engineering. And I said, you know, I have learned nothing in this internship. You know, the way that you're hiring people is bad. And I feel like you need to know because like you're wasting everyone's time, including mine and yours. And my dad was like, yeah, you tell him. Yeah, good for you. And we hung up. He called me back about 10 minutes later and was like, yeah, I thought about it. You probably shouldn't have done that. That was probably a bad idea. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, it probably feels real good right now. But like, imagine you're trying to get a job in a few years and, you know, the only place in town that's hiring is them. And now they're going to be like, oh, the malcontent needs a job, does he?
The guy who wasn't challenged enough, gunning for my job. Just
I was like, yeah, that's not a bad,
like,
good call, actually.
Listen, Dad, yeah, I mean, I know you're right, but fucking just don't.
But like, come on, man.
I mean, he's right. Like, especially like I don't know what company this was, but like, let's say they had connections, and like, let's say that they have your name, and they're like, oh, well, this guy's just, you know, he's not happy with what we're doing, and they fucking blacklist you to who knows who
the whole industry
with. Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's little fucking coding son of a bitch over there who wants to be challenged. He's not happy.
That's the thing is like, and especially if you think about it, it's like I went to go work for a company that paid me way too much money to do way too little. That's like the American dream. Yes, like, I threw it away because I was like, I'm bored.
Oh, I'd die for that job, for that intern job, but as a job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't know, like, how fucking pretty I'd be sitting just being like, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
This is fucking sick.
That's the thing is like, you know, thinking about it, like what I did every day was just like, oh yeah, I would get up and I would have to get dressed in a button down shirt and a tie that I hated. And I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm wearing slacks and shit. And I'd drive it. I would pay for parking. And I was like, God. And it's the summer and I have to walk from this like parking lot over to the building. And oh God. And now I get to get into my office and I'm like, all right, finally, like I'm in the office. I didn't drink coffee at the time, so no coffee. I was just drinking Crystal Light. So I'm drinking my Crystal Light and I'm like, well, I had my morning meeting with my team. The other intern that's in the office, we, he wants to take a nap now, so I'll keep an eye out for other people for the next hour, and then he'll wake up, and then I'll take a nap for an hour, and then it'll be lunchtime. So then we'll go get lunch for an hour and a half, and then I'll come back, and then I guess I couldn't, like, our computers were hooked up to the internet, but they monitored our web traffic. So I was like, well, I can't just like go to Newgrounds and play games or whatever. Like,
yeah. Couldn't you just bring like an iPad and like with stuff downloaded on it?
This was before all of that. To give you a hint at like what time period this was, I had just gotten a BlackBerry.
Oh no.
And I was like, now I've solved this issue, because then I was just on the internet on my BlackBerry, like, hey, you can't fucking tell me what to do on my own cell phone. I was doing legitimately nothing all day.
Should have brought a PSP.
Yeah, I could have done that. That is true.
I remember having an office job when I worked for T-Mobile for the call centers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had our own cubicles where we would take calls, but like we didn't have like a lot of call volume, so like I would just be sitting there in front of my computer, and I'd either have like books that I'd be reading, or I had my PSP that I was just had plugged in, and I was just playing games. And then when I'd get a call, I'd hit pause and take the call, get it over with, and then get back on, baby.
Yeah, that's that good shit. Because like, I mean, and I'm sure I brought it. Like, I don't even remember. Like what other things I would do to fill that time, but like that whole time was just like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And then all of this, like at the end of 2 weeks, all of a sudden $4,000 was in my bank account, and I was like, well, it's not that bad.
I don't hate
I could keep it up a little bit.
I don't hate it that much. Just
it's okay.
I bet nowadays, like, I'd really die for that job. For fucking...
Dude,
For real. Especially if you're just copy-pasting fucking Excel sheets. I'd do that in my sleep.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if me now got transported back to that time and had to do that job, like, it would have been very easy for me to automate all of this.
I was about to say, you'd probably make a program, and then fucking put it to your computer, and then just dick around the whole time without even having to lift a goddamn finger.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't even be. Well, okay, so I would have to be in the office, because what they had this thing that would plug into your computer where, like, in order to unlock your computer, you had to have your badge, like your ID badge that let you into the building. You had to plug that into a card reader that would unlock your computer so you would work at it. And that's how they tracked whenever you were in the office or not. So I was like, well, shit, I guess I have to be here and do work. After a certain period of time, they would, like, if it was like, oh, you've been inactive for 10 minutes or whatever, then your computer would lock, and then like the time that you've spent online would go down. And so that's why, like, some of us, like some of the other interns had found out that, like, oh yeah, what I can do is, like, I'll put my mouse here, and like, I'll like put my phone next to it, and then, like, it'll vibrate every once in a while, and it'll move the mouse just enough to like get some jitter going or whatever.
Put it on like one of those things that, like, this is like shows my age, but one of those cool, like, things that people put in their office with, like, the lava lamp water.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah.
It would like seesaw.
Yeah.
Just put your fucking mouse on that so it would like seesaw back and forth.
Hell yeah.
Fuck. I know you never see those anymore, but I think that was like a thing from like back when we were younger.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, office decorations, I feel like, are also like go through generations of shit. Like, you don't see like clacker balls on people's like office things anymore, but like, man, I thought everybody's office had one of those.
Yeah, That I mean, fucking Magneto had some, and like he's cool.
Yeah, and he's like, that's a documentary.
So yeah, it has to be real. Like
Mm-hmm.
fucking that's Norman Bates shit. Like
Yeah,
he had that stuff. And he's the best office worker.
yeah. It's
When you
all
were there,
this is all above board, okay? All this tracks.
all the, it all makes sense to me. And that's why now I want to go to college for engineering for 1 year and get this job.
Yeah,
But
easy. You just keep getting internships. Don't even get a real job. Just keep getting internships.
look, if I get the internship and just beg them to let me keep working there, I'm sure they would.
Honestly, it probably wouldn't take much. And like, okay, so I would say the biggest benefit beyond like the gigantic paycheck is that they had a subsidized cafeteria. So there was one day that like I went to this like the subsidized cafeteria because it was in a different building. So like it would take about 15 minutes to walk there, and that's like 15 minutes in the summer. So like you would be dying by the time you got there. But I went there one time and I got like salmon and mashed potatoes and broccoli for $2.50. I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Hell yeah. Fuck it. I just get a Segway all over there.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
They were like, oh look, there's that tech guy. How can you tell he's on a Segway?
He's on his fucking Segway.
Which is a good segue because time's almost up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Damn.
I did want to talk about one more thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Trigun.
Yes, Fee. Okay, so I'm going to give you some guidelines for this. Okay. 1, do not recap what happened in the episode. If people are interested in seeing what happened in the episode, they're going to go watch it. Instead, I need you to give me your opinions about what happened, your favorite things that happened, and I need you to answer questions that I have. Ready, go.
Okay, so in the new Trigun, first off, I will say I don't like the OP.
Okay.
It's not better than the original.
Okay.
Although it's not bad, I can see people liking it. It's not like if you know the original Trigun OP, it goes in with that like desert like heavy metal like da 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 na 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 fucking heavy metal. It shows like Vash like running away from like bullets. It shows all the characters doing their little quirky things and no words. It just full melody. Well, same thing with the new OP, except it's not like a desert rock. It's more like a desert, slow pop song.
Okay.
And the visual is just the desert, and Vash is walking in it.
Hell yeah, that's Trigun, baby.
It's mellow and it's not heavy and it doesn't feel dirty, and I prefer the original over the new OP. But like I said, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I prefer like the more intense one because the show is more like intense with its action and comedy and stuff. Whereas I guess the new one isn't comedy focused, which is a real shame.
I'm very fine with that.
I know you are, and which is why I like I said, because I messaged you earlier. I really like the new Trigun, and I'm trying my best not to compare it to the old one. I like it for what it is, but it is not better than the old one, and I don't think it'll be fondly remembered as the old one.
Okay.
The animation, it looks good. It looks really good, but there's something about the OG animation which is more fluid and gives more expression, animated movements, and something more cool when it slows down in the original. Whereas the new one, I think they rotoscoped it, so it feels a little more stilted at some points. Okay. And of course, when they do close-ups, there's like big expressions, but they're few and far in between. There's a lot of quiet. There's a lot of like quiet, like retrospective in the new one that I don't like. Because like in the first one, like I said, there's always someone like talking, or there's something going on. You hear townsfolk talking.
Mm-hmm.
Vash is being his big old goofy self.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why Vash does that in the original. He's being goofy and trying to save people, but like he's fighting with like the inner turmoil of like, man, there's a bunch of fucked up shit happening in the background that I don't want people to know, and I don't want people to see that I'm worried about it, but I'm really worried about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the new one, Vash reminds me of how people think Cloud was in Final Fantasy VII,
Ah.
and how he's portrayed in Advent Children. He's kind of really moody,
Mm.
and he does, he does have like smile, and he does act goofy a few times, but it's not as much as like OG Vash. Like I said, I'm trying not to judge it based on that, because the new one is a good show. It's just not. It just doesn't remind me of like the source material.
Yeah.
But I see how they're changing it.
So my major problem with Trigun, because after the new trailer, after the new trailer came out, I went and watched a couple of clips from the old Trigun, and I remembered. So like, the parts that I remember really liking about Trigun were like the end. I really liked the end of Trigun. And I really liked some of the parts where like Vash got serious. And for me, the parts in which Vash was being like goofy, and there was like, oh, fucking $6 billion double dollar mail, the humanoid typhoon, all of that was the tax that I had to pay to get to the good parts. And like that version of like that part of Trigun reminds me of like Slayers, which is an old comedy anime.
I know Slayers. Yeah,
that's not good.
Well, I
will just straight up say it's not good.
Slayers is a fondly loved anime. It's funny for the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure if you watch it again now, you can kind of see the age. But the animation in the OG reminds me a lot of Cowboy Bebop, except not as refined.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's about the same level. It's very similar as far as like the amount of effort that's put into it. But the main thing that I have, like, the main problem that I have is just that like comedy at that time was like, blah, look at how crazy this is. Isn't it funny because of how crazy it is? And just that level of comedy just, it's so cringe to me.
So you haven't seen old Trigun in I don't know how long, right?
Yeah, except for the couple of clips I saw, like, I think it was after the second trailer came out, the one with Wolfwood. I watched a couple clips from it, was like,
So I rewatched episode 1 of Trigun and compared it to the first episode today, and I watched another episode of Trigun that for the episode that came out Friday, which they were like the same. It was like the same thing that happened in each episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and watched the old episode, and there's a lot of things that I don't remember, but like as an adult now, I remember, and it's better for it that I didn't see as a kid. So what you're talking about is the comedy being like really out there, like, wah!
Mm-hmm.
That happened. Like, that's Vash, of course. But in the episode that I saw today, the OG called Hard Puncher with the Nebraska family. If you remember who they were.
Nope.
So the little scientist guy with the gigantic guy whose arm like shoots off. Like
yes. Okay. Got it.
So in that episode, it's a really dynamic episode where the whole town is after Vash. And then as a last-ditch effort, they hire these outlaws to come catch him, but it was a bad idea. So, like, the whole beginning, like, first half of the episode is Vash, like, these outlaws come into a saloon where Vash is at eating, and they there's no words, like, they kick the door in and they start fucking shooting like everything, and then it's not played for laughs. They even like do a slow-mo to everyone's reaction, and then it ends up with like Vash on the floor pretending to be dead, and everyone and the guys are like, oh, we did it, we took down the guy, he's worth $60 billion double dollars. And we'll replace whatever we broke in the restaurant and whatever. And then like slowly, as they're like fucking reveling in their win, Vash, gets up without them noticing and is like palling around with them, and then winds up, being like, hey, y'all don't got any more bullets, and like sends them on their way. The whole Vash thing. But it shows in that small 5 minutes shows his skill of how fast he is, counting bullets of multiple guns for multiple people, can counting the bullets, what's it got? Predicting the trajectory of the bullets because he avoided all of them, and then playing dead, and then got rid of the bad guys without having to shoot a bullet.
Sure.
That's how all of Vash's. That's his thing. He doesn't want to hurt people, and he got rid of them. And then immediately after that, the townspeople give him a free lunch, and then, they all pull guns on him. And then it goes into one of my favorite scenes in the OG, the whole town going after him in the streets.
Yeah.
Which, again, is one of my favorite scenes because then you see Vash running through the streets as everyone is gunning him down, and he's just avoiding everything. Like, he's running on the roofs, he falls in between the things, he's like yelling like his goofy yell, he's freaking out. And then one of my favorite parts of that is as he's doing that, he runs up into a bell tower, and a guy pulls out a fucking rocket launcher and blows the building down as Vash is in it. It's so fucking good, and it's really, the animation is, it's so good because it's like very fluid, and it's funny because you see Vash reacting, everyone's and their fucking mother are after him until the Nebraska family comes.
Yeah.
And then that's when it gets serious because, like, right when they came, a little girl came up to the camp and was like, we caught him, he's over there at the restaurant. And it cuts back to the restaurant. And then you get this somber moment of Vash. And he's sitting there and he's like, oh, bounty hunters with aprons. And they're like, we're all mothers here. We need to build this. And they tell them the plan of their town. They're like, yeah, the plant's out and we need the money. And it would be better if you were dead because then we can't leave the town. We're poor. And if we had the money, then we could rebuild the town and everyone's lives would be better. They're like one person to like the thousands that live in this town. And he's like, yeah, I understand that. And then he gets serious. He's just like, but there's a man I'm after. And he slowly stands up and, he pulls his gun out and he's like, I can't let him, I can't let him go out in the wild while, I still have a reason to be alive. And he gets serious. And then that's when shit goes down, when the family attacks. And then this also the episode where Millie realizes that, this goofy motherfucker is Vash the Stampede. Because not only does the Nebraska family, his name is Gosef, the big guy, destroy the building, Vash saves everyone in the building while also defending himself, pulls them out, sets them aside. He also takes down the family by shooting the fist that the guy fired at the people that he pulled out, changing the trajectory with 5 bullets, and then with his last bullet, he doesn't say anything this whole time, and then with the last bullet, he's like, I got 1 bullet left, and then he spins the barrel, and then like he clicks it back and then shoots the dude in the arm, like putting him down. And then everything turns out fine for the town that Vash saved, because they wind up turning the Nebraska family in and getting the money for him, which means they got the money to fix the town because they broke out of jail and they had a lot of money on them. So he, without killing anyone, saved the town, turning into actual outlaws, and then also showed his skill and showed that he could be serious. And also he screams love and peace like a big fucking goofball.
Ugh.
I like that.
The worst part.
I love it. That's my favorite. But that's just from one episode. So,
you know what I like? I like how we started this and I was like, don't recap things. And then you just spent the last 10 minutes recapping not an episode of Trigun Stampede, an old episode of Trigun.
I did that on purpose because I wanted you to know how I see and how good I thought the old one was. And because again, I'm without spoilers, the new episode on Friday was about the Nebraska family. and I that's the only reason I saw that. I saw the new episode twice today. Saw it once fresh with nothing. Then I went back to watch the episode it was based on. Then I saw it again and compared and contrasted to myself. And
Okay.
I have to say, I I didn't like how they were portrayed in the new one. So,
Why not?
um, he told me not to spoil things.
I mean, I'm all I'm asking is that you don't recap. Like,
Okay,
so, and the reason why is because if people want to watch the episode, they're not gonna like. People don't come to this podcast to listen to us recap episodes. They can just go watch the fucking podcast, or they can go watch the episodes themselves.
okay, yeah, but that was the old one, and I was really stoked about it because I really liked that episode, so it meant a lot to me to recap it.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so the new episode, I didn't like him. The doctor was okay. He looks a little different. I didn't like how they turned the big guy with the arm. He used to be like 2 stories tall. Now he's just like a 7 foot tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
And all he knows how to say is his name. And he's not like really a threat. He just punches really hard. His arm still pops out and punches really hard.
Okay.
Vash shoots 1 bullet in the whole episode. And it's really cool. Like the doctor pulls out a gun and he shoots. And Vash pulls out his gun and he shoots and like the bullets collide. And they don't end up getting arrested. Nothing like really happens. Like the thing in the original episode didn't happen here.
Mm-hmm.
The whole town is after them, but it feels kind of. It wasn't as fun and dynamic. It was cool. Like there was one scene when it started where like Vash was like jumping on buildings, and it was kind of cool, but it kind of felt less intense.
Okay.
I guess I could say, and I didn't like that. But I mean, it was okay.
I mean, so I'm into that because I like that gives the show and gives everything basically room to grow, which I'm into because like whenever you start off with something that's like, oh, this guy is doing this fucking crazy thing and he's look how big he is and look how animated this guy is, like there's not, I don't know, I feel like it's harder to go to different places with that. Like it's easy to start off at something that's like, this is the general area where this show is, and then sort of like make it bigger or like make it more animated and sometimes, or make it like more serious and sometimes, rather than starting off in like big 2-story man does thing. Vash says love and peace. It's very funny. He says donuts. It great.
Like it's just. Like I said, the new show is not bad. It's just it's a very different show, which isn't bad, and you shouldn't compare it to the old one because it's vastly different. Especially Vash, he's very different. And and here's the thing about the old show that I found out today. The old show, the reason it has like a lot of filler and it's kind of like slower paced with a lot of like mindless episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The manga wasn't all the way done when they made it, so the creator of the show just kind of pulled a fucking Game of Thrones and wrote in like his own thing for the show.
Oh God.
And
that makes me wonder which show, based just looking at the Nebraska family, I wonder which one is more accurate to the manga then.
The one in the OG. They changed a lot. They changed a lot of the things in the new one compared to the original. The story beats are the same, but they changed a lot of the style and looks. So.
Okay. Interesting.
But what's it called? Then again, the manga came out like in the 90s. So, yeah, and a guy from Gungrave Gore did all that, like the fucking the style and the fucking.
Listen, we're not talking about Brandon, all right? We're not talking about the dastardly Brandon.
That's the thing. Like I said, and I like the way everyone I really like the way Millie looks in the new one. She's not an insurance salesman; she's a journalist, and not Millie Thompson. It's Meryl Streep.
And
Yep. Meryl Streep. She's a journalist, and there's no Millie Thompson in this one. It's just a guy who's literally drinking from his like flask in every fucking scene he's in. His name is Roberto.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally just drinking his fucking flat in every scene or smoking a cig.
Good old Roberto De Niro. Love him.
That's right. His name's Roberto De Niro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they in the first episode they lay everything down. You know the backstory of Vash right from the fucking get go. You know that he was in space.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Knives is a bad guy. You know that Rem saved them. You know that what happened. And here's my favorite part of when they crash, and it was in the trailers when you see Knives on the hill, and he's laughing. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's a fucking weird. I was like, yeah. So Fee says that like the new Trigun is actually pretty good. Do you want to watch it? My wife was like, I don't know, maybe. And I was like, did you watch the trailers? And so I pulled up the Wolfwood trailer, and I pulled up the first trailer, the very first trailer, and the fucking ending when he's a kid, he's like, this. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. No, this is terrible.
I know it's supposed to be menacing, but it makes me laugh every fucking time.
Yeah, it's just horrific.
It's such a bad fucking line that he has to say, because I don't know if it's supposed to be serious or not. I'm just saying it's a different feel. It's faster, where now you know that the Knives is already named. He's the bad guy. You know he's like in the background somewhere. And Vash is a lot more tame. He's a lot more somber. And that's it. I don't like the way the gun looks in the new one. It looks like the starting pistol from Borderlands.
Man, I really like the way the gun looked in like that I've seen in the trailer, at least.
It's not like it looks all scratched up. It looks like it's pieced together. I don't like that.
Hell yeah.
I love the fucking shiny silver ass gun that OG Vash has. It just looks so fucking lethal. Especially like when the angel arm comes out and the fucking top comes off and there's like an engine in it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know. We'll see, right? Like,
yeah.
I may actually be watching this. We'll see.
I haven't given anything up. But one more thing I want to touch on. I like the way the new Vash looks. I like his jacket. I like he's wearing like pants and a black shirt. Mm-hmm. I don't like his arm. It looks kind of goofy.
Okay.
I think
I'll make sure to tell Vash you said that.
I think the arm sticks out too much. You know what I mean? Like it. You can't help but look at him, and then you see this bright blue mechanical arm on him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the OG, it just looked like his hand, but it was wrapped up in black. And then when he needed it, it like became a machine gun, which was pretty cool.
I mean, listen, I like based off of the difference between the old and the new one. The new one seems like it's going a little smaller with like some of the reactions and some of the like outlandishness, and I don't know, kind of making things more realistic, I guess, because like 2-story man to 7-foot tall man, big shiny engine gun to big kind of pieced together, kind of scratched up, kind of shitty gun, right? Like,
yeah,
it feels like they're scaling down a little bit, which I'm in for all of that. I think so far the only thing that I'm very not in for is the fact that they revealed everything at the beginning. Like, I kind of liked showing up in media res and being like, oh, Vash is this fucking weird character and nobody knows why he's like being such a good dude, and nobody knows like what's going on. Nobody knows who Knives is or that they're related or anything. And then
you didn't know about him until 13 episodes in. That's halfway through. And
which is pretty cool.
And you didn't even find out about him until he fucking beat what's his name? The guy with the big shoulder. in the white coat. Remember?
Yes. Yep. Now I remember.
Like Knives doesn't even like come into play until after that.
Yeah, which is fucking yeah. Okay.
And you didn't like youth. I for like the longest time I thought the guy with the blue hair was like the antagonist.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Until
Honestly, the show doesn't get to the fucking point until like way too late in, which like I feel like that's like an episode 4 thing. Like you start off and you're like, oh, who's Vash? And then as you get to know him a little more, then it's like he drops the name Knives, or like then you like see a town or some shit that's like been knives.
there's been knives.
There's just knives everywhere.
But like the thing about like anime from back then, they didn't do like seasons. They just put the whole thing out.
Yeah.
So like there was no dedicated anime network or anything.
True.
They just showed it on TV, and they just made the whole show. And if it was gonna do a season thing, then they were gonna be like, well, here's 24 episodes, and you'll probably get another 24 in a year or two.
Yeah.
So like that's just how it was back then. So the end, like I said, the manga wasn't even done, so they kind of just stretched it out to, I guess they had 24 episode quota to fill, so they stretched it out with the creator, helped out with it, and I think it turned out really good. And they gave a lot more time to flesh out the characters.
Yeah. Which is good, but I mean, no one can argue that the old Trigun doesn't have a bunch of filler that can and probably should be removed.
Oh yeah, episode 2 is for sure fucking filler. 3 I think is like half filler. Like as I was like going through the list or like earlier today, I was like, oh, this is a lot of filler.
Oh,
but I mean, I didn't dislike the episodes. I just knew it was filler. But that's the thing. It's just we have 13 episodes for season 1, and I'm pretty sure we'll get another season of Trigun Stampede.
Mm-hmm.
But before like we end off, because that was all my gripes. It's a very different show. And I'm sure I'll like it depending on how it goes. We're only 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
I know it's different, but I don't dislike it. I just wish there was a lot more comedy. Meryl is the comic relief this time.
Okay. It's not Millie, because Millie isn't there, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know if she'll come in. Maybe she will. Ooh.
Millie is Knives. That's the twist.
Yeah, instead of Millions Knives, it's Millie Knives.
Ah! That would be fucking great. That would be great.
That would make me hate the show. Like, really, it would make me hate the show if that was the fucking reveal. But before we sign off, I do want to say something that my boss said that made me mad at him.
Okay.
Like, it made me cringe and angry.
Okay.
Because when the first episode of Trigun came out, I was at work and I was like, hey, I went to the bathroom, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I just got done watching Trigun because he watches anime.
Mm-hmm.
This is my boss, by the way. Dance battle boss.
Yep.
And one of my other coworkers, not one that I've talked about here before. He's a newer little guy, but he's like basically my boss's lackey. And I was like, I just got done watching Trigun Stampede, and you know what? It was a good episode. I have high hopes for this show. And he was like, oh, I didn't kind of want to watch it because they made Vash look LGBTQ, and I was like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
and he said that was what he told me. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what?
Well, you see, because his hair, it's like curved down, and his jacket, I don't like his glasses. He just looks, I guess, gay.
What?
And I was like, what? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, what?
I was like, this is made, like, what? I was like, just watch it. I'm like, it's free on Crunchyroll, and I know you have it. And he was like, I was just kind of worried about it. And I was like, what? It's like, you're fucking stupid.
How embarrassing.
I was like, oh, God. I was like, have you seen an anime?
Have you seen anything recently?
It's like, what? Oh, God, you're on crack. You have to be. I just fucking left after I took a leak. I was like, oh, it's done.
God, that's horrific.
That's the stupidest thing that I've heard. Like, for Western cartoons, I've heard people say that. Never for an anime. Like, oh my God. Even when people say for Western cartoons, that's stupid. Oh, they gone woke. The woke agenda.
Uh-oh. Someone has some glasses I don't like. Must be a gay.
I hate it. Oh, while I cringe, take us to the outro.
You can listen to this podcast live while we're recording it on twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. We go live usually once a week to record, and you can hear this episode early before anybody else gets to hear it. If you want to watch the replay of this, it is on our YouTube channel. Just look up Go Get Us podcast on YouTube, and it's there along with a bunch of other shorts that we've been uploading. We upload a short a week. And we also get them uploaded to our TikTok. So fucking go check them out. They're all very good.
They're all really good. And it would be in your best interest to watch them.
Yeah, that is a threat. Fee also neglects to mention that we have this is an audio podcast, so we can you could listen to it in your car when you drive to work. If you want to listen to it on Spotify or any other podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, all of that, we're all there. So
what do you mean neglect? I always say Spotify and iTunes.
Nah.
Name one episode I never did.
It was episode 51.
Not even. Nope.
Yep.
I did in that one.
Go back and listen to the whole episode.
I will. Just like you should.
Yeah, everybody should go back and listen to every old episode. Pick a different platform, though, so we get the metric.
Do it on Spotify, iTunes, any podcatcher, YouTube. Watch our shorts, not our pants. On TikTok.
Good Christ.
Yeah. We're getting real sexy. Today's episode 69, and my God, my nipples are hard.
Yeah, we did this is a special podcast. That's why this episode is 2 hours long, because it's episode 69, baby.
Because it's episode 69, I did the whole podcast with no clothes on.
I did not know that or need to know that.
Oh, I guess you're going to be really upset that my butt plug's in too.
Oh, Fee, please end the show and my life.
I can't do both at the same time, one at a time.
Do the show first, and then this will be the last episode because I will be dead.
Okay. Well, let me take the butt plug out. So
Welch.
What I want you to do, like I tell you every week, what I want you to do is I want you to get Velma, hire her for an internship, make her go take a piss test, and then while she's in the bathroom trying to pee, I want you to get Vash the Stampede, your secretary, to go in and check on her and find out why she's not peeing, then punch her in the balls several times to make sure she pees. And then after you get your sample, I want you to send it in to your new employee. Then go get him.
Go get him. Is this you dropping the deep lore that Velma has balls?
Yeah, she has two big, just boisterous balls.
It's just like if you were to examine vertically, it is clitoris, it is like labia, it is like vagina, and then directly below is just these two glorious orbs.
Just two big fucking fortune teller balls. Sized balls.
Everyone, that's why everyone loves Velma, is they're just hypnotized by Velma's sack.
That's why she can solve mysteries so good. She can see the future through her balls.
Jesus Christ, we should have known.
I mean that's what they don't tell you. That's the lore they don't want to tell you. That's
what they don't tell you.
See, you're all about Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine. I'm all about Velma and the solving nuts.
Bye!